Dude, I always forget to do this while the thing's playing.
Waiting.
I get caught up and
Yeah.
just fiddle farting around with other stuff. So hang on, let me get this thing pinned to
Did it lag
our
on your end a
page.
little bit?
Did what?
Did it lag on your end on that intro?
Towards the end, a little bit, a little bit.
I agree.
All right, where is this thing? I think we'll be okay though. I think
No.
you're showing full bars. I'm showing full bars. We should be good. There we go. Okay, hang on, real quick, guys. I know we're already. It's 8ish, right? You guys know us by now.
Welcome
8ish.
to Ish, man.
Yeah.
Sorry. More like Erdy at this point. Eight
Yeah.
Erdy.
Well, yeah, ish, eardy, whatever. We're there. We're here, right? We're here. After a glorious weekend back of high school football, right? It's back. We really didn't hit on that very much last week. That high school football is back,
No, we
right?
did not.
No, we didn't. We kind of just jumped into everything and I don't know, screwed the pooch a little bit, I guess. Right.
Well, I mean, per usual, we kind of waited the last minute to do everything. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Right after
yeah.
the script, 2 minutes
Just like
before.
just like tonight. I think show prep today was like the last 20 minutes of work, right?
That's
Um
debatable.
oh guys, well welcome back. After last week's I guess we had some pretty eventful games, some snooze fests after what happened last week. I guess the biggest thing that's come out this past week is the Bishop Sycamore documentary,
Dude,
right? That's high school football. That's got something to do with what we're going to talk about, right? So before we get into that, have you guys seen it? Have you guys give us some feedback? There's 19 people watching right now. Did you guys watch the Bishop Sycamore doc on Max, former HBO Max, whatever you want to call it, HBO, whatever you subscribe to, right? It basically broke down how this thing came to be. And this, I know we don't like to cuss, right? But this Roy Johnson guy is a real piece of shit,
that's
right?
lightly putting it too. He's a narcissist, man. Like
Dude,
when you really think about it, and just his reaction, and it was funny to him, and I mean, I think he seems like he did it just for the fame, right? Like he's proud that he got a documentary out of this, and they even talked about it partially. They were hoping to get a Netflix series when this was
yeah.
all said and done, and the most surprising part to me was that it was actually like a 4-year deal before it kind of unraveled on him.
Before Bishop Sycamore, yeah, that with the
And
COF team.
and when I'm watching, I'm kind of like just amazed at how one person can just blatantly do that to kids, and then you sit there and you see him avoiding, and he's putting these kids in these hotels, and no one's paying for it, and it's just like these kids don't really understand what's going on. It's just crazy, and then to see ESPN get duped like that, and IMG itself get duped,
They
right?
didn't talk about that in depth on how that happened,
They
right?
were
They didn't.
they kind of touched on it, and to me, it's like one of those things of like, for one, if you're IMG, you have to actually find teams that want to play you, which is probably pretty darn hard, right?
Yeah,
And then on top of that, they said that's the only team in Ohio that was willing to step up and play him. So they literally IMG sought them out, which is kind of crazy to think about, But they, obviously there was not a lot of research done by ESPN or IMG going into that game, and it showed.
yeah, yeah. So if you guys haven't seen it, take a watch because there is nothing that regulates any kind of um religious based school from starting a football program, and it doesn't
No,
necessarily have to have a school attached to it. Now,
no,
it's pretty interesting and disgusting at the same time, right? So Roy Johnson is kind of the villain in this show, but there's probably 100 Roy Johnsons across the United States who
oh
are
yeah.
trying to do this whole thing right now.
The
I
fact
mean,
is that I guarantee you there's a ton of Roy Johnsons out there that would love to be able to get to do that, right? You know what I mean? It's hard to get into the coaching world, right? You have to have a college education. You have to be hired by a public education system. There's backgrounds involved. There's a lot of checks and balances, right, to get into this role. And you see some of these other states, the private schools, it's a little more lenient. I think even in Texas, it's a little more lenient with the private schools on who
yeah,
can get in and coach. So you have
yep,
some of this funny business going on. And like when you see these two guys coaching them, I mean, straight buffoons. If you're a regular high school, college coach, you have to look at these guys and be like, man, you're really tarnishing the industry. You're making people out to be something that they're not. And it's just kind of crazy. And, while we're talking about Christian schools, I don't know if you noticed this or not, but did you see where Annapolis is playing Benavides, Corpus Christi Annapolis? That used to be a 6-man team. Is
Benavides is a 6-man playing this. They're playing 6-man this year.
Okay, see, I wasn't sure what the deal was with that, but I was
Yeah,
like, man,
so
talk
because the
about kind of
enrollment,
up in this world a little bit.
I think Benavides has like 20 20-ish kids, 25-ish kids in the senior class, the high school, maybe something like that. It's not a lot. So they decided when our guy Zubia was still there that they were going down to 6-man this year. So there's some highlights. I saw some highlights posted um, from oh, don't make me lie. Lathka, Coach Lathka, that he
Okay.
posted up earlier in the week from the game. And it's weird, right? So I'd like to get those guys on just to kind of break down 6-man for us. I
Yeah.
know we see it at state championships, and that's really the run that the masses get to see if you don't live out in West Texas and it's the norm, you
Didn't
know.
they just modify their field? Or they just built that field and everything, right?
And Benavides?
Yeah.
No, it's
That
an old.
wasn't
You're thinking Fremont.
okay. I was like,
Yeah, that
man,
was
you
Fremont.
just spent all that money on a regular football field and all that. And
Yeah,
I
I
guess
think
the
it's
thing
just like they
was
do it. It's
it
just
was
like they do
Cat
it
that had the
everywhere.
really cool decals a couple years ago for us from Benavides.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so again, if you guys haven't seen that show, go give it a watch. It's worth the hour and a half that's on there, and you're pretty upset with it with the way it works. But
Pretty bad.
so last week, right? I guess we'll start at the smaller classifications, right? So Bishop at London. I really couldn't find a whole lot on how that game went down. But London, we both had London winning. They took it 33-7. Breaking in that new quarterback, got some running backs, got a veteran offensive line. So they kept it on the ground a lot from what I saw. So end result, right? Bishop still kind of reeling. I think they're still going to find their way with this new system. Um,
Yes.
but just like we predicted. Our next game, they got some pretty big games on Thursday. So Kingsville Robstown, which was kind of our semi game of the week, right?
Had some
And
bearing to it.
yeah, and the Coordinator Bowl, whatever you want to call it, the Battle of Highway 77. I got some grief for that. I guess that's what they call Rivera and Bishop, I think. I'm probably wrong on that, but I was like, well, Highway 77 is a big road. There can be a lot of fights on that thing.
Yeah. Sorry, I got
So we split that one, right? So it was 21-18 Kingsville. You took the win on that one. I took the L. Pretty close, right? If you saw what Coach Perry had to say about it, they got a lot of stuff they have to clean up.
yeah.
So not a bad thing to say. And Kingsville, I think they equaled their win total from last year, right? Or they actually exceeded it. Were they 0?
They were on. They. I don't think they scratched a single win last year.
Yeah. So there we go. They're on the right track.
Boy, Ruben came through.
He did, right? And now, so you're dead to Gage still,
I
but
know.
it is what it is, right?
It is what it
So
is.
the next one, which is kind of, I think somebody's wants to chime in on that one. Rockport Fulton at Miller,
Yes.
71-7
Tell me
Miller.
this. What is too high?
Oh,
Is it
come
40?
on.
Is it 60? Is it 70? Is it 80? Is it 90? What is the rule?
Right? It happens.
It's never too high.
It happens, right? And there was folks that were out there bashing on social media, bashing Miller, why they run it up, and I know we say this all the time. How are you going to put another set of kids in? Because they pulled the starters, right? These starters didn't stay in all 4 quarters. Wow, look at that! Look who's checking in.
Yep.
Wow, the bomb. How's it going, bud? Man, we got a lot to talk about. We got to catch up one day.
A lot, dude.
Whole lot of moving pieces going on, dude. So I guess the disadvantage of putting the backups in for Miller is their backup quarterback was the starting quarterback last year.
Yeah, JB.
Yeah, who also caught 3 touchdown passes on the first team as a wide receiver.
Yeah, I was about to say. I thought I saw a couple of little name drops for him at the receiver in a pretty good game, right? 3 TDs, a couple catches.
Yeah. And they there wasn't anything that really stood out stat wise from anybody because again, they pulled the starters real early. And I think they went running clock in the second half. And Robert is right. They would have scored 100 points if they kept the starters in. I think they had 60 at the half.
Yeah, dude, it was a little welcome. I think that was a little welcoming party to the new coach over in Rockport, right? A little, hey, how you doing? Welcome to South Texas, right? You're Miller. That game's been pretty close the last couple of years. And then, dude, Miller also kind of flexed that offense a little bit. I think it's a little testament to what they got in the stable. We talked about it in the very first preview show, they got a lot coming back, dude. So yeah, you're right. They could have probably scored 100 if they really wanted to.
Yeah, if they really wanted to.
They really wanted to.
So not much, a whole lot to talk about that. And then the big one, right? I'm gonna let you take the lead on this one, dude. Okay. Cal Allen at GP.
Yep.
25-17. Gregory Portland. First time in 8 years that the Gregory Portland Wildcats take a win. It's all yours. It's all yours.
It feels good. I'm pumped, obviously. Watching that game, I was a little like kind of – I think when you watch that game and you're playing Cal Allen, you know what Cal Allen brings to the table normally. But I kind of felt pretty confident. There you go. There you go, Joey.
What's the 12? What's the asterisk? What's the 12?
I think you said 13, right?
Did I? Who said 13? Oh, the score?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't give score predictions. I'm not good at giving scores.
No. Right now, I thought you said 25-13. Right?
Oh, did I? I thought it was 25-7 is what the score was. 25-7.
Yeah. Either way.
Yeah.
And I got – hang on. Yeah. 25-14.
Did they score 2 touchdowns? I don't think they did.
No. It was 25-7, Joey.
Yeah, it was 25-7.
25-7. Anyways, great to be back on that win column. If you're a GP Wildcat fan, it was a long time coming. For me,
25-7. There it is. Yeah.
For me personally, I was hoping to see 40 plus on Cal Allen. You know how I feel about that game. But I think I think the future looks bright. If you look at the sub-varsity down for our boys, it looks pretty solid. If you look at our program, that was the first time I think I've seen GP come out in the longest time and look rather tough defensively in the week one. I think the offense has a lot of things that they can clean up that were there that we just didn't execute, right? And I think that's some rust showing with the QB and the receivers, but it happens, right? You saw Brody Mitchell out there at receiver. That's new. We saw Big Gabe playing both ways. That's new.
Yep.
Gabe's been a 3-year linebacker, 4-year linebacker almost for GP. I mean, and then they slide him into RB this year as well. And then, of course, we made a couple mistakes, as did Cal Allen. It was week one. But other than like 25-7 game over Cal Allen, I'll take that every year. I'd take that the next 9 years in a row and would be happy every time. I would take 7-0. I don't care. As long as we win, I'm happy. I think Cal Allen's still going to have a good year, but definitely if you're a Cal Allen fan, I think there's some concern with some certain areas on that team, but they seem to always get better as the year progresses. So it's week one. I'm glad that the boys got the W. I think we're going to have a pretty good run this year, and I'm biased. So
well, in that game, an unfortunate injury happened in that game with Ryder Harrison, and everybody's seeing the updates. We've shared the updates. We actually went out and saw Ryder that next morning, and visited him there at the hospital right when we got off of work, and gave out our first mini helmet of the season, right? But the update today, or the latest update I saw, is the lung is still not holding, and they had to insert some type of catheter in there this go around. So I mean, it's still going to prolong his stay in there. He's a resilient kid from being there. When we were there, he didn't want to stay down, right? He wanted to get up, be moving around. So it's killing him, kind of just hanging out there and not doing anything. I still don't think they're allowing visitors in right now either. So that's got to be.
They took it away the day we went, I think. Dude, I think he had probably the most visitors, probably easily all time. It seemed like Miss Harrison kept everyone pretty updated on the Facebook, and you saw the slew of people that was just running through there. We got there 7 in the morning, and it was like they were ready for us, and it was nice to get out there and see him and be able to kind of take a little something to him. And that's a tough injury, man. He took a shot, dude. He got up and walked it off like a man. That's impressive, dude. That was a punctured lung. Broken rib, punctured lung. He walked it off like a man. I think he probably was slightly concussed too a little bit in the mix of that. And I think we're hoping he gets out pretty soon. It looked like he was doing pretty good, kind of had some back and forth, but obviously they want to be cautious with it. So He's only a sophomore too. You got to keep that in mind, dude. He's got a long time. He's got a couple more years for us,
Yeah.
and he's already
And
kind of blossoming.
if these if everything heals up, the docs are talking like he can be back this season.
Yeah.
Right. So we'll keep an eye on that. We'll see what happens. And Ryder, we hope you get better soon, and we hope you're out of there
For
sooner
sure.
than that. Right. So Friday's games, sitting at Beeville, 23-16, 0-5, the last 5 matchups
Me too.
between Sitting and Beeville, which
I'm
is
not
a
gonna lie, I
shocker.
was wrong again on that
We
one.
both were. We both had Sitting on that one. We thought they were due. And oh man. It was, it was just like the last few games. It's been very little offense in that game, a lot of defense. Sitting had a
Yeah.
chance to tie it up late, and I want to say it was fumbled inside the 5, which kind of
Yeah.
preserved from them tying up, and Bevo was able to recover and run the clock out. So
Yeah.
kind of that's how these games have ended recently, right? So
Yeah.
Sitting 0-1 and Bevo 1-0. And we were both wrong on that one. San Diego at
Yes.
George West, 24-14 San Diego. We both had San Diego in that one.
Yes.
Not a whole
Took a
lot to
little
say
tried and
on that
true on
one.
that one, dude.
Yeah. Yeah. Then we had Canyon at Vets, 39-29 Vets. We both had Vets in that one.
There you go, Kakota.
If you watch that one, offensive line still they've got a gel. I don't think they've played together. They've shuffled enough kids, or they shuffled a bunch of kids around from the original positions. So it's learning new positions, trying to gel, a whole lot of things that are coming into play there. I think as the season goes on, they'll get better.
Yeah.
They swapped quarterbacks. They went back and forth. Billy, the sophomore, ended up getting most of the snaps in that game. Don't make me lie about his name. Billy White had 157 passing yards and 1 touchdown, and Sapsuk had 2 touchdowns and over 150 yards receiving. Typical of a D1 recruit, right?
Yeah. The thing with Vets, dude, and we said it in the show last week is, and this is kind of why I went with them is just like, dude, it's a consistent product, right? Every year for the last 5-6 years since we've done the show, and even maybe a year or two before that, the show really started. They were kind of starting to hit that groove. It's just a consistent product. You know what you got. They're coached well. They're some of the better kids in Corpus. Usually, you're going to that school. They have the size. They have more speed than most teams in the area. So it's a cohesive team, and they're tough to beat, dude. And that New Braunfels Canyon team, that was a good win because New Braunfels Canyon's coming off a really good run last year. They have some key pieces back as well. New head coach and new quarterback. So that's kind of something that those dudes are working out. But if you really follow it, man, New Braunfels Canyon, it's not like you're beating up on a nobody. Like, you came in and you beat a solid football program. And I think that's something, if you're Vets fans, you can hang your hat on and be happy about, because last year you took the L. You took the L in New Braunfels Canyon, gave up 5 turnovers last year. That's alarming, right? We lost to a team that turned the ball over 5 times. How did we do that, right?
Yeah.
This year they cleaned it up. They beat them by 3. Win's a win. I think Mr. Kakota and them could be pretty happy about it. And, of course, once Vets finds their quarterback in their groove, they're going to run. They're going to make a run, as always. So, yeah, they're going to be one of the teams we follow per usual. But kind of wanting a shocker there. I was kind of glad they got that win for them. A little hometown cooking on that.
And yeah, I think we were that game was actually pretty split on who was going to win that game, based on if you
You
have
got
that
your Vets haters, dude. You got your Vets haters.
Yeah.
I'm one of them normally, but you got your Vets haters.
Yeah, that is true. You do have the Vet haters.
It don't matter what they do. People are going to want them to lose.
Yeah, just because of the flashy new school, and everybody's still up in arms about the open enrollment thing. That was like 7 years ago, right? Robert says they have a
Rob,
Chick-fil-A.
man, he's super interactive for a guy we ain't talked to in a while.
Dude, big time. Nice to see you.
Dude, I'm not gonna lie. I got thrown off at the beginning of the show because I got a text on my phone, and it was the coach group me, and it's because I'm wearing the hat, and that caught me off guard and threw me off. And then I got the numbers wrong on the Portland game. And anyway, I'm settled in now. I'm settled in for the
All right.
show.
So the next game we had TM at Moody, 28-0 TM. We both picked Moody in that, or TM in that one.
I got TM, dude.
Yeah, I meant TM. We both had TM, not Moody.
Same baseball.
Yeah, it's not baseball. The big
You
difference.
might take that now, though.
Wasn't as big of a margin. Maybe that's a sign that Moody's getting better. Maybe, I don't know. We'll see as the season goes on.
Week 1,
The
dude.
next game we had Karn City at Odom. 18-7 Odom. Should have been an 18-0. Odom should have pitched a shutout in that game. There was some shenanigans going on in that game there with it was a long run, I guess, the way Karn City scored on that one. And I guess everybody thought the runner was down, even the runner. They were kind of just all standing around. And oh man, I'm on the wrong one here. The Karn City coaches were just kind of yelling, hey, run, run, run. So the guy picked up and ran. Everybody's just kind of standing around and ran, I think, 70 yards for a touchdown. Meantime, this is why the guy was down. his legs down. So
Yeah.
Odom got denied of a shutout in that one, but the Owls equal their win total from last season, which
Big
is
city of Odom right there, dude.
big
1
city
and
of
0.
Odom, right? Yeah,
MW
hey,
column,
there's a lot of shenanigans going on in town right now, man. So we need these Owls to perform, man. Get your mind off all the politics and stuff. If you guys have been keeping up with the news, you need to read it because I'm not going in depth on it.
Big city of Odom.
Yeah. Hitchcock at Refugio, 43-36 Hitchcock. We both pitched Hitchcock in that one. What were your thoughts?
Surprised with how good Refugio came out and played in that game, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Yep.
For the longest time there, I was like, man, Refugio proved us wrong.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
they almost did, man.
And then it was almost like bad luck. You know, Billy and Ryan are going to be mad. I finally tuned in on YouTube and watched seemed like the fourth quarter of Doom. And you got to give it to Hitchcock, right? The quarterback they had, man, some of the athletes they had, it's just like I think they had more gas in the tank than Refugio did come in the fourth quarter.
What was
They're a bigger 3A. Those numbers start playing in account whenever you're playing a tough competition like that and how close that game was. And dude, the hats off to that Hitchcock quarterback, man. He made some great plays towards the end of that game that kind of iced it up. And their defense stepped up and slowed down that offensive Refugio, which I think is going to be even more potent than it was last year once they hit the ground running this week. So, if you're a Refugio fan, it stinks. You took one loss, but at the same time, I think losses build character. And you lost to a really good team who's going to make some noise in 3A. So
they're top 10. They're a top 10 3A team.
I'm calling Refugio right now going on a 15-0 run. So we'll see. 15-0 run from here on out.
Yeah, and AC Refugio was gassed. Yeah, they were. I mean, the sidelines. I think we said it after the game. I think they had probably 15, 20 more kids on the sideline than Refugio did.
They were gassed, and there was some stuff that wasn't being utilized as much as I don't think they.
Wow!
As much as I think it should have been. You want controversy this year, dude? You got controversy, okay?
Burn the bridges. Burn the bridges. All right, in our last game of the week, Bernie at Flower Bluff, 42-35 Flower Bluff. We both take the win on that one.
Yes. Big win for the Bluff, dude.
Big win.
In the top 10.
Yeah, they did. They are number 10 now at 5AD2 in the state rankings. Flower Bluff jumped out to a 20 point lead, 20-0 point lead, and then
was 14-0, and then Bernie battled back. Bernie still brings back some good key pieces to that team from last year that made a state run.
Well, guess what? Jackson Bays is out. Foot injury. Could be out multiple weeks. Yeah, they're kind of hush. A lot of rumors flying around what exactly is wrong, but he left the game or after the game. He hasn't been practicing. So that could throw a big wrench in Bernie's plans if he's not healthy.
Yeah, that also kind of puts a little dampener on the Portland matchup in a week or two. Not having him, I'd like to see him battle against the Cats, right? It's preseason. You want your guys to get tested. No better way to get tested to me, he killed us last year. We let him, you get him in third and longs and he'd kill you with his feet. So I was wanting to see how they adjusted to that this year, right? Because a lot of our kids that were on that team come back and play that game, right? So that's kind of a bummer. That kind of puts a dampener on that game for us. Yeah,
so keep an eye on the quarterback situation in Bernie. Man, that runner, very good, very small and shifty.
Dimmitt, right? Dimmitt?
Yep. Yeah, Dimmitt. I think that's how you pronounce it, Dimmitt.
Dude, I'm going to say this right now, though. I kind of had this feeling going into the year. And I don't know if I put it on the week 1 show or not, but dude, Bluff's the team to beat around here right now this year.
Yeah.
with the way Jaden's playing, man, dude, if he continues to play like that, and Johnson, the receiver, dude, they're going to be a tough team to beat this year, and they're going to be a tough team when it comes to playoff time because they came out of the
That
gate looking
defense.
pretty strong against a pretty strong team.
Yep.
The
And that
defense is
defense looked
always
pretty.
solid,
Yep. Very
and
salty
the
defense.
offense was looking pretty good as well. So, that's a team you're gonna have to pencil in, man. They got the size and the speed. Could be one of those years for Bluff to make a good run.
Definitely, definitely. So the next thing we've got, well, we actually had one that we didn't call because it wasn't one we were going to look at, but B. Damone had chimed in, and it was the Hebronville Orange Grove game. We didn't count this one in our stats because we didn't pick this one up ahead, but Orange Grove manhandled Hebronville 53-13. And it was kind of a repeat from last year. I think Hebronville put up 55 last year, and it's kind of the same thing. They're big. They're Orange Grove always bring big guys, and they always seem to have a quarterback.
Yeah,
Right. They always have a quarterback, and this year I think he's a sophomore. Is Logan Rodriguez, and we'll talk about him more later. But I think he threw 7 touchdown passes in that game, and ran for another one. But Hebronville surprisingly is getting away from their ground game.
really.
They ran a lot of bubble screens, kind of throwing the ball around a little bit, trying to get Eden Bettis out wide. It's very shifty running back, very, very quick. You don't see him run up the middle a whole lot though. So I think that's what they're trying to do is utilize his speed on the outside. And it's just kind of weird seeing Hebronville going away from what they're used to, wing T, slot T kind of thing, So that's going to be an interesting development as the season goes on, if they stick that way, or if they're going to go back to their roots. And
It takes some time, dude. I don't think it's one of those things. If you're gonna go fully into that swap, you need to do it full bore right come off season because you got to think about it, man. Those kids that have been playing in that system, they're used to the wing T. Like they're not used to catching passes all the time for you. They're not used to pass blocking schemes. They're used to hand in the dirt, firing off low. It's a different style of football to have to learn and to coach. And then you take it down to a smaller level like Hebronville, less coaching. To be able to get more hands-on individual kids, I think is probably going to be a little bit of a roadblock. So you have to, if you're a Hebronville fan, you have to kind of maybe bear with it a little bit, kind of weather the storm, if you will, and until the coaching finally comes through and the kids kind of play into the system and they learn, and you're going to have kids pick it up fast, but then you're going to have kids it's going to take a little bit.
yep,
Portland went through those growing pains. We were wing T my whole time, and I watched football and my whole time when I played, and then after that, we've gotten away from the wing T. And it took a pretty good while there before our athletes coming up through the program kind of got a hang of, hey, this is Portland football now. That we throw
yep.
it, we don't just run it out of the wing T. It takes a while. Rockport was kind of going through those growing pains, I think, as well. They've been a little bit of wing T. They had shotgun wing T. Now they're going full spread, so it's going to be some growing pains.
Yeah, yeah. So keep an eye on that as the season goes. 16-3 AD2 may be up for grabs.
Yeah, very
You don't
well.
know. They could be. So our next segment. Yeah, that makes good for us, right? So our next segment is something we're bringing back, first time of the year, which is our weekly helmet sticker awards are making a comeback, right? Thank you to Doug at 97 Sports Promotion for believing in the show and helping us showcase Coastal Bend athletes. If you're not familiar with Doug and his products, 97 Sports Promotion makes great mini helmets. They make our Player of the Week awards, and they also make full-size helmet decals as well. Give Doug a call, shoot him an email, hit him up on Facebook, hit him up on Twitter. I guarantee you're going to get sticker shock by his prices, and not in the bad way. All right, so reach out to Doug.
I'm sorry. I'm gonna throw him some love here, dude. I gotta throw some. I need to put him on our social media, man. He made some stickers for my brother-in-law. He's got a little 8U 9U football team up in Lindale, man, and we sent him the designs of what we wanted. It was a very fast turnover. He took extremely good care of us, and the stickers came out flawless, man. I need to get some sent to us because we got some metallic blue pancake with syrup stickers. Those are sweet. He's got an eagle in metallic blue with the wings, dude. Those are sweet. Like real good stuff, man. It's quality work. Doug's the man, dude. There's no way around that.
Yeah.
Great prices.
So let's get started. We got about 8 highlights, I think, that came in this week. Again, as the season goes on, we usually get more. Send your highlights in. 2 to 3 highlights from your week, and we'll put them together and we'll showcase you guys. So here we go.
Doesn't have to be varsity either. It could be a little bit lower levels.
You know what? Let's go full screen on this.
Second and 5. Brown. It's a man in motion. Looks, throws at the middle of the field. Caught. Whitmire down in. Brown throws. This is caught by Whitmire inside the 10. Touch. The far side of the field. End around here. Keelan throws over the back to Flash. Caught wide open. And Ernest will not catch him. Touchdown, Bobcat.
Long way out there.
That's out there. Brown deep down the middle. And Campbell reaches up and catches it. What?
Impressive group. Week 1.
Yeah,
dude.
not bad for a week 1, right?
No.
So I want to say this now. I dropped the ball on Logan as far as player of the week went because I only saw his passing stats. I didn't see his rushing stats. He definitely would have been up there as a player of the week nominee with the numbers that he had put up, because all across the board, I mean, it seemed like these quarterbacks threw roughly 260, 270.
Yeah.
The only real standouts were Jaden and I think JJ Acosta. JJ had, I think, 300 yards throwing. I think so. So those were your 2 big standouts. So I mean, that's my bad. Sorry, Orange Grove. I robbed you potentially a player of the week winner.
Yes.
It is what it is, right? So who do you got for your stickers?
I had Aiden and Ernie. Right.
Not
That
bad.
was my picks earlier this week.
Yeah.
Aiden and Ernie, when we started going through the film and looking at the stats, and and the thing that stood out for me with Ernie, man, it was the level of competition, right? When we were kind of debating that one, there were so many good ones to go through, and Aiden for me, week one, wasn't gonna let my boy David down. I thought Aiden balled out. I think Aiden's gonna have a great year. It was impressive the way he was making some of his throws, and you're right, man. There was a lot of dudes that performed this week, but I think those dudes are going to be back. Ernie, man, huge game against Hitchcock to touch the ball 4 times, score that much, and get that many yards, 25 yards per catch. It seemed like it's just impressive, So Aiden and Ernie were my week 1 helmet stickers. Can't wait to get those stickers out to the boys.
Yep, I've got Logan Rodriguez and I've got Josh Chavita. I went 2 quarterbacks this go round. So guys, again, send your highlights in as soon as that week's over. As soon as you're looking at that huddle stuff, cut up 2 or your 3 best plays. Send them to us. Send them to us through our Facebook DM or send it through us to our Twitter DM, or you can email us and at stfunltd@yahoo.com. 2 to 3. Don't send a 5-minute video. It takes a long time to splice that stuff up and cut it down. Send 2 to 3 clips, or better yet, splice it together and huddle 2 to 3 clips, and we'll post it up that way. So get them in. We love getting these stickers out. We'll get your addresses. We'll get them out in the mail. If you're close enough, we'll present them. Right? We like doing that. We like getting out to the practice, getting to hang out with the fellas for a little bit, and touching base with the coaches. But you got anything else on last week, Justin, before we jump into week 2?
No, the only thing I got, dude, is real quick. Robert, that dude has kicked, I think, 50 plus yarder once as a sophomore, maybe. And we didn't get any highlights of those kicks, but they were pretty ice cold. And as always, GP over Cal Allen. Move on to week 2 now.
Man, you're very blurry, dude. Like you're very pixelated. How do you look on your side?
I look fine.
Okay, hang on. I'm gonna close you out and get you back in real quick. Hang on.
Okay.
Still kind of blurry.
Yours looks a little blurry on mine. Maybe it's just how it is. I don't know.
Maybe. I don't know. Okay. So
David,
I sent one video. I can't see with this thing in the way.
No, I meant what does he see? Do I look blurry to you, David?
Oh, yeah. Anybody watching? How does Spud look? Does he look pretty clear? Anybody? Somebody? Let me get this out of here.
Week 2. On to week 2.
Okay. So week 2, it's kind of a pretty pedestrian slate. Wow. Y'all look clear. Okay, cool. Maybe it's just me on my end. All right, thanks everybody. It's pretty pedestrian slate this week, right? So there's not really a whole lot of standout games. But we'll start with the smaller classifications and we'll move our way up. Right. So let's start Thursday night first. Thursday night is the Battle of the Bridge. Gregory Portland at Carroll. Last year it was 42-0 GP. Could be a little different this year, right? Carroll came on a little bit towards the end of last year. Won a few games. They started putting stuff together with Coach Netherland out there, getting everything going. I had a chance to meet with him last year when I went to go present a helmet sticker to Leroy. Very interesting story. We need to get him on Coffee with Coaches. Still looking for a sponsor, by the way, and get a little one-on-one with him. He's got a pretty interesting story. So last week, we kind of talked about what GP did last week and what they bring to the table. Carroll's 1-0, a 38-13 win over Ed Calchelsa. They scored on the very first play of the season after an Ed Calchelsa fumble on the kickoff. Yeah. The 2 big standouts in that game were quarterback Matthew Rodriguez, who's a first-time starter, and running back Robert Muhammad, who's stepping in for Leroy. And that was going to be – he had some big shoes to fill. Matthew finished with 179 passing yards, 3 touchdowns, and Robert finished with 159 rushing yards, 1 touchdown, and a receiving touchdown. They jumped out to a 20-0 lead in that game and kind of never looked back.
Yeah. Man, something that I took away from that game was there was a picture of the Ed Calchelsa side. And
that was Sergio. Sergio put that up.
Yes, I know you know this because you're a Valley guy a little bit, right? Played in Harlingen. Dude, the crowd, the fan base from Ed Calchelsa, I never thought I'd see it that low, dude. Even for an away game, man, that was low. So that kind of tells you kind of where that program's at right now. So it's hard to take what you see from that first win from Carroll. I do think they're moving in the right direction. The new school's going to help, right? We're kind of revitalizing that program a little bit, getting kids back to the door. getting the athletics going. I want to see them be at the level that we know Carroll can be at, because it makes this game, the Battle of the Bridge, that much more fun, right?
Yep.
Rivalries become stale, right? Whenever it's always lopsided, and you go to it and it's just kind of like, man, this isn't really what it used to be, right? And it's something that I'm hoping changes, right? I want to see Carroll come back. I want those games to be tough, and we'll see. I don't really know how to base Carroll. So we're going to see a lot from Portland. I'm ready to see how they handle this Carroll team. How are you going to go against some of those athletes they got over there at Carroll? How are you going to man up? I'm obviously taking my Wildcats. Going to ride them to the wheels fall off this year. But I'm looking forward to it. I'll be at the game tomorrow. Battle of the Bridge. I'll never miss it. So that's kind of my take on it. I think there's growing pains for both sides, and it's going to be interesting to see what Carroll looks like this year. You're very right. They could look a lot different than years prior.
Hang on, I got something going on here on my side. Hang on just a second.
Oh, so you're the blurry guy.
Am I blurred? No, man.
I'm just kidding. I do need to write this down, though, so I don't forget. That way I can hold myself a little bit accountable for next week. So, GP.
Okay, that was weird. I think my son was getting a call somehow on one of these things over here. I couldn't figure out where it was. But
okay,
whatever. It is what it is. Okay. I've got GP in that one too. I've got to see a little more from Carroll. I think they're going the right way, but I'm not ready just to pick them over the Wildcats yet. Yeah. So I'm with you on that one. I've got Gregory Portland as well. So Friday, starting off with some 2A action. Freer at Agua Dulce. Last year it was 34-12. Freer, they're both 1-0. Freer took a 42-16 win over Banquetti. Banquetti 3A D2 and Freer a 2A D1 school. And Agua Dulce took a 53-0 win over Charlotte. Not a whole lot of info on Freer that I could find, but Agua Dulce, Lane Rainley, 186 passing yards, 4 touchdowns, 30 rushes, 2 touchdowns. They spread the ball around to 4 receivers. Could be a pretty interesting ball game.
I don't have enough to go off either one of these teams. Yeah. I'm taking Freer, man. For whatever reason, dude, I'm gonna roll Freer.
Yeah, Freer jumped out to a 26-point lead in the first half over Banquetti.
Seems good to me.
Yeah, so I'm going to go with Freer too I just saw how Freer put that many points up. I was like, wow, look at that as the night was going by on that Football Friday app. I was just like, that's pretty interesting. I thought Banquetti was going to handle Freer pretty easy, but I guess not. So I'm going to go with Freer in this one as well. Next game we've got – hey, Ryan. Next game we've got Odom at Tidehaven. Last year, 34-7 Tidehaven. Odom's 1-0, 18-7 win over Karn City. Tidehaven's 1-0, a 30-0 win over a solid Goliad team. Was supposed to make a pretty good run in the playoffs this year.
What do you do here?
What's that?
So what do you want me to do here?
So last year, that 34-7, we all know of Odom's offensive struggles from last year. You know, Odom got inside the 5-yard line in the first half and could not punch it in 3 times. Yeah. You know, they get in, that's a different ball game. They're up 21-0 actually at that point. But it just, things happen. You know, the season happened to Odom last year and it just snowballed. And it actually, I think Joseph Dodds may have not played the first half because the second half he just opened it up. So if you guys aren't familiar with Joseph Dodds, he was our number 1 running back out of the Coastal Bend Crossroads area players to look out for. He's a 3-star running back that's committed to Baylor. Had over 1,700 yards rushing last season. So he's the one to look out for in this game. And they've also got newcomer of the year in that area, quarterback Cale Russell, who started as a freshman. Actually, these guys, the Tigers, played Poth, state finalist, their closest game all season until they lost up in that state title game against Gunter. They lost 12-6 in the playoffs. And that was a freshman quarterback throwing 4 interceptions. Dodds did not play that game. Could have been a different outcome if Dodds played that game.
Yep.
So they keyed on the freshman who handled it very well. I think he threw for 1,300 yards last season, did not start at the beginning of the season. I think he came in week 3 and kind of took over from there. They've got a very stingy defense, man, as evident by shutting down Goliad last week. As much as I'd like to pick Odom in this game, I don't see it. I think the Tigers take it. And the Tigers, depending where you're reading, who you're listening to, they're expected to have a spot in Jerry World. This season. Yeah. So you don't know, man, if they can stay healthy and play mistake-free football, I mean, they could go that far. Van Vleck may have something to say about that as the season goes on. But
So where are you going here?
what do you mean? Where am I going? I
Where
already
you
picked.
pick? You took
Yeah.
Tidehaven? Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
as much as I'd love to pick Odom, and I hope they prove me wrong. But I've got Tidehaven in this one.
Okay, so you made it easy for me. I'm taking Tidehaven. I hate to do that to you back-to-back weeks picking against your team, but I was.
Well, I hope that's an omen. I hope
I was
that you
hoping
picking
to
against
so
them.
I could get an easy one up on you this week. So, but yeah, I'm rolling with Tidehaven as well. I think there's too much dogs in the stable, and they got a really good team. But it's a good challenge for Odom, right? You're gonna get to see where you're at early on. That's nice.
Yeah, and that's the point of scheduling hard, right? Because and eventually they could see each other in the playoffs depending where they end up. I mean, it's the same. They're the same.
They're 2 years removed from that game in the playoffs.
I think so. Yeah, they met them in the second round 2 years ago.
Yep.
Yeah. Next game we have on the docket: Sitting at Rockport, Battle of Highway 181, Battle of the Pirates, whatever you want to call it. Right. Last year was 44-27 Sitting. Both teams 0-1. Right. So last week was the first regular season start for Tyler Hansen and Sitting. He had an okay game, 168 passing yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. The offense struggled at times, but like we said, when we talked about the game last week against Bevo, it was a very defensive heavy game.
Yeah.
Again, they fumbled inside the 5. It was either fumble or a turnover on downs inside the 5 to avoid tying it. But the defense played pretty solid. Aiden Moody, 17 tackles, 1 sack. And Nathan Mulder had 11 tackles. Can't really say what to expect from Rockport because we didn't see a whole lot last week.
Yeah, it's tough, dude. You're breaking in a new coach. It's a new system.
New quarterback.
I will say the people that I talked to said Moody was an animal in that game for Sinton. And I think that's something that moving forward you're going to see a lot of this year is them lean on that defense a little more. Coach Troutman's old school, and it seems like a little more his DNA is the defense sometimes, even though we know he's an offensive line coach. But I think Sinton's defense is going to prevail in this game against Rockport. I think you'll see them bounce back and get on the win column this week. I'm not really sure what the quarterback situation is in Sinton, but I would assume Hansen would get another go at it. And, they're probably going to try to get him going kind of early. So, obviously, I think there's things that Coach Troutman and them are going to want to clean up from last week and move forward. So, it'd be a good way to kind of see what the direction forward for them in the season is. And the last couple of years, they've kind of had Rockport's number. So, yep. I'm going to stick with the Maroon Pirates this week.
Interesting take in that game, or an interesting side in that game. Sage Havda, transfer from Toloso.
Yep.
Right, playing quarterback in there. Stepped in there a couple of series for Tyler, I guess, so he can get a breather, maybe to iron some things out. But yeah, so that was an interesting development there. Yeah.
Who you going with? Maroon Pirates?
I'm going to go with the Maroon Pirates in this one. I'm going to go with Sitton. I guess I've got to see something from Rockport, and I think this is the game we may see a little more from Rockport.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's enough to overcome Sitton. The next game we have up, Orange Grove at Beeville. We kind of talked about both of these teams, kind of off the bat from last year, right? So last year, kind of deja vu. Orange Grove coming off a big win over Hebronville, and they lose to Beeville 41-16, who came off a squeaker against Sitton last year, right? So you got deja vu again. Now, do we see a repeat of this, right? So I've talked about Orange Grove already. We talked about their playmakers. Wide receiver Michael Science had 196 receiving yards, 4 touchdowns. You guys saw on the helmet sticker awards. The biggest thing I think you can take away from this is you look for Beeville to slow the game down. Try to keep Orange Grove off the field. Beeville's a slot offense. They run a lot of double tight ends. I mean, they're designed to grind the clock out, right? I mean, they can score quickly.
Football. It's Coach Sosa football. Both Sosas now, right?
Yeah.
You have Eric working with his father. And it seems like I keep picking against Coach Sosa. And it might have been the time I got yelled at that one game, and I was like, why am I getting yelled at? No, I'm just kidding. He did yell at me, but I get it.
That was their sitting game, right?
He is not – yeah, it was a sitting game like 3 years ago. He is not a fan of people walking between the 20s on his side of the field. I'll say that. But it's no big deal. I'm going Bevo again, dude. I think that was a good win for them against Sinton week 1. So I'm gonna take Coach Sosa this week. I'm not gonna root against him.
Yeah, I think so too. I think we've gone deja vu this far. I think we're going to see deja vu again in week 2.
All right.
I
So
don't think
now you're copying me.
I'm not copying
I'm
you.
just
I'm
kidding.
not copying you. I think that's what I thought ahead of time. I got it written down right here. Oh, you want to
That's fair.
see?
That's fair.
There, see?
That's fair.
Next game we got up Toloso Midway at Corpus Christi Ray. Last year, 3-0 Ray in a defensive slugfest. Right. So we talked about TM. They're 1-0, 28-0 win over Moody. Ray is 1-0, a 48-31 win over Laredo Nixon. Like I said, last year wasn't a very offensive heavy game. Ray had 188 total yards of offense. Toloso had 152.
Defensive slugfest.
Defensive slugfest, right? So an interesting thing that I saw when I was looking up stats, their quarterback starter this year, Brayson Bazell, actually got some snaps in this game last year. I think he probably played a series. I think he had 6 pass attempts, completed 4. So he's got some experience against this Ray defense.
Yeah.
TM last week was led by kind of everything. Damon Figueroa, he had all their touchdowns. He had 3 on the ground, 1 in the air. Good replacement for Landon Hassel, who replied last year, who was kind of their Swiss Army knife, who graduated last year, and he steps into that role. TM took advantage of early Moody turnovers and kind of ran with it that way. Ray, and it's kind of something we didn't hit on a whole lot last year because, Ray, I mean, to be fair, hasn't really done a whole lot since I'm guessing. So ex-Cal Allen running back, I'm guessing TM kept their running back at home is what I'm thinking. Maybe. Right.
Wow.
What do you the line in the sand has been drawn, but I'm gonna say that all year.
Yeah.
Right. We're keeping them home.
Tell you what, dude, those TM fans, man, the younger parents, dude, that got kids involved, man, they're kind of getting up behind that, dude. I know a couple of them, and it's like TM or die right now over there. So
yeah.
Where are you going? Where are you going?
So Ray, let me give you the Ray breakdown. So Ray, they're relying on a trio of running backs led by senior Brandon Chapa, who had 1,362 yards rushing, which was the 3rd most all time at Ray, which is kind of surprising, right? That school's been around so long, and you figured they'd have a few 13, 14, 1,500 yard runners, right? But I guess they've always been throwing teams.
I guess so, right? They've thrown a lot in the last decade or 2. Yeah. So that might be the identity over there.
Yeah, could be. So it's
obviously
along with Brandon Chapa, they've got Aiden Navarre and Ruben Garza. So last week, quarterback Nick Ganthu, who they're breaking in as well, 235 yards passing, 4 touchdowns, and Garza and Chapa combined for 243 rushing yards and 2 touchdowns. So pretty solid offensive performance. I'm not sure about how well their defense is going to play. I think TM's got a bad taste in their mouth from that 3-0 loss last year. I'm going to go with TM in this one. And if I want to give a point spread, I'll say by 2 touchdowns.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, I'm taking TM as well in this one. I got no point spread for it, but I'm just going to roll with Coach Owens.
Yeah. All right. So we've got another big game, right? And do we see another high-scoring ball game? Corpus Christi Miller at El Campo. Last year, 49-29 Miller. Miller's 1-0 with a 71-7 win over Rockport Fulton. El Campo, who is number 12 in 4A D2, 0-1 with a 41-7 loss to Cuero, who is number 4 in 4A D2.
I got Miller, dude. Reason why I say that, I think they're stronger than they were last year. And last year, El Campo had the number 1 running back, number 2 running back in the country on that team.
Yep.
And they got beat.
Yeah.
To me, I feel like El Campo's ranking right now is a little based on respect for them as a program versus maybe where they're at as a team. Especially, after losing to Cuero, which, mind you, Cuero's a very good team.
Cuero's they could win state.
They could win state. But at the same time, I would expect the number 12 team to be a little more respectable than that, right? Unless Cuero's just astronomically that much better.
So
even saying that, though, it's still I'm taking Miller. I think they got to me, I think where Miller hurts El Campo is I think they got the athletes to kind of out-athlete them with the offense. And El Campo, keep in mind, is breaking in, a new coach as well, Coach
Yep.
Worrell left last
Yep.
year after that season, went back up to Dallas. So I just think things are kind of falling in place for Miller to get another W here.
So Miller had 600. We didn't talk about this earlier. Miller had 665 yards of offense last week. Their defense got 3 turnovers in the first quarter. El Campo. Now here's where it kind of gets. I was kind of thinking the same way you were till I kind of read this. So their quarterback Oliver Miles, who's a Texas Tech commit, did not play due to injury.
Okay.
And what kind of snowballed this game is El Campo got down to the Cuero 3 in the first quarter and could not get in. And from there, it just snowballed. That's football, though, right? So I don't know if I'm 100% ready to say El Campo is kind of their number 12 ranking is based on reputation. I've got to see them at full strength. But I think Miller's just got the dogs in this one as well. I think Miller runs away with this. There is no Reuben Owens this year. I know they had the backup running back had a very good game, that game against Miller, and that following week against El Paso or Corpus Christi Vets.
Yeah.
So, but I think Miller's just got it this year. I think it's going to be an easy one for Miller.
For sure.
And that brings us to our game of the week. Corpus Christi Veterans at the original pride of South Texas, the Alice Coyotes, in the Sky Dome. Bad lighting and all.
Oh.
Right.
You took a shot at him.
So Vets 1-0, 32-29 win over New Braunfels Canyon. Alice 1-0, 55-0 win over Corpus Christi King. Win number 1 in the Richard Castellano era. Congratulations, Coach. We kind of hit on what's that?
No, I just said for sure.
Yeah.
Congratulations to Coach Castellano.
So we kind of hit on Vets issues, so we're not going to really talk about them very much. New offensive line, getting through some growing pains there. Quarterback issues, going in and out with quarterbacks, platooning them. I think they may have found their starter in sophomore Billy White. We'll see who gets the nod this week against Alice. Not a whole lot out there on Alice. I mean, you score 55 points. I just know the starters were pulled at the half. Mm-hmm. And after that, they kind of went on cruise control. Quarterback Lucian Cruz, who's a sophomore, threw for 197 yards, 2 touchdowns, and added 52 yards on the ground. And Roel Gonzalez had 3 rushing touchdowns. None of the running backs, they spread the ball around to about 4 different guys. None of them had over, I think, 70 yards in that game. But that's what happens when you play half of football. I'm going to go out on a limb, dude. I'm going to go with Alice. Just like Robert said, don't sleep on Alice. I'm going to go with Alice. Alice, I mean, we've said it all the time. Alice always has playmakers, right? They just could never seem to put it together, right? I think they've got the man in charge who can help put that together.
I do agree
with Alice.
I do agree with you on that statement. I think Castellanos the man for that job. That being said, I'm going to go with Vets. I'm going to be that guy today.
That's fair. Hey, that's fair. That's fair.
I'm going to go with the consistency, right? I'm still not sold yet on, it seems like for me, the last couple of big games I've had Alice pegged in. It's like I actually had him pegged, I think, last year in this game as well.
Hang on. A 55-0 win, Alice win is a fluke. Is that what you're saying, Felipe? A 55-0 win is a fluke? Is that what you're saying? I just want to make sure that I understand that a 55-0 win is a fluke. You agree with that, Justin?
Not really, but it's okay.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I just wanted to put that out there. Okay.
I'm gonna take Vets.
Hey, look, he stands behind it. He says a 55-0 win's a fluke. At least he's standing by it.
Standing by it. I'm taking Vets, dude. And because I'm taking Vets, I think Sabsuk and company, I think the consistency's there. I think they're going to bring a solid program out there on the field. And until Alice can break through and get one of these wins on the big stage like this, which they haven't done in a while, it seems like, it makes me lean to the Vets side. That being said, I do think it's going to be a good game. I was actually probably not going to go to this game, but the more I think about it, I kind of want to check this game out a little bit. It's kind of hard. It's kind of hard to pass it up.
Yeah.
So I'm still on the edge on that, on whether I go to Tidehaven or whether I go to this one. But I'm leaning Vets in this game. I'm going to take Vets.
Okay. All right. Nothing wrong with that. So What we've got now is our week 1 player Elite Tank Solutions Player of the Week award. Right, Elite Tank Solutions. Secure solutions for a secure future. If you're interested in new tank construction, API tank repair, and maintenance, they also install new internal, external floating roofs, and they can install new aluminum IFRs. They do civil and concrete work as well. For all your industrial tank needs, contact Steven Rodriguez or Nate Griffin at Elite Tank Solutions. Not Nate Griffin. I'm sorry. That's my buddy, Nate. But yeah, reach out to Elite Tank Solutions for all your industrial tank needs. So this was so guys, just a reminder. Okay, so we have 2 voting areas. You can only cast 1 vote, but you can vote on our Twitter page and you can vote on our Facebook page. A lot of these times, these if you're only looking at 1, they're very lopsided. So we had 1 on our Twitter page. We had 1 guy run away with it. On our Facebook page, we had another guy run away with it. You combine those votes, and 1 guy ran away with it. So without further ado, our Elite Tank Solutions week 1 player of the week is Falfurrious running back Rene Martinez. 319 yards rushing and 3 touchdowns. You know, Rene has been producing since last season, probably even the season before that, and he's putting up 100, 200 yards a game every time he steps on the field.
It's a solid choice, dude. There was a lot of good picks this week. We had Pelucio from Flower Bluff put up astronomical numbers against a very good Barney team. His receiver, Jaden Johnson, put up really good numbers against a receiving team. Renee obviously ran for 300-plus yards, 3 TDs, won the award. And then we had the Iron Man, Boom from Portland, Gabe, going both ways, had 100 yards rushing. Then he had how many tackles was it?
20 tackles.
20-plus tackles. And he
tackles,
did
a forced fumble, and a sack.
Laid some good hits. So, get out and vote, man. Renee, congrats on week 1, dude. It's awesome. We're going to get one of those helmets out to you. Season's here, dude. It's great. It's great to see this rolling now.
Yep. So we'll reach out to Renee, get his address, and Renee will get that in the mail to you. Same thing with the stickers, guys. We'll reach out to you, get your address. We'll get those stickers to you. Hopefully, I doubt it. You'll get them before this week's game. But you'll for sure have them before next week's game. Justin, do you have anything else before we go?
No, just real quick, thank you to all the friends and family that watch the show each week. Your brother-in-law Steven for sponsoring with Elite Tank. Robert finally checking back in with us. It's been a while, dude. People don't know or been familiar with the show. Robert was one of the guys that helped coin the original name of this show. So it's kind of always when he hops back on. And then if you notice, man, he ain't a fair weather. He stays the whole time. So pumped about that. Of course, the usual fans always hop on and chime in. We appreciate it. And, of course, everyone sending us your stuff. Keep all the coaches that catch wind of this or whatnot, man, send in the tape. Send in the stuff for your players. Any ways of promotion for you and your program and your kids. And that's really all I got, man. I'm pumped about the week 2. Pumped about tomorrow night. Get back-to-back nights of high school football. So, yeah, you can't beat it.
Yeah, so we may be out there tomorrow night for Carroll GP. And I'll be at Tidehaven. I got to get eyes on this Joseph Dodds guy for Odom, Tidehaven, and Justin may be accompanying me out there, or he may go to Alice. We'll see.
I might be riding shotgun again, getting jerky at a crossing. We'll see.
All right, guys. Again, thanks for tuning into the show, just like Justin said, and we'll see you next week. If you want to repeat the show, this will be on your favorite podcast app starting tomorrow morning at 5 a.m. And we'll see you next week. If you see us this weekend, check in.
Keep in mind, we were 9-1. We were both 9-1.
Yeah, we are both 9-1. Actually, 9-2. 9-2.
9-2, and we got eight picks this week. So y'all let's keep a tally of this. We're gonna hold ourselves accountable this year.
Okay. All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next week.